All right, this is part 3. Part 3 of verse 2, I think. Jai Sri Radhe. So we're discussing the verse, Na dharmang na dharmang sutigana niruktam kilakuru. And this is the second verse of ManahShiksha. And what we're doing is we're looking at the Prema Pattanam, just going through a little bit, just as a side diversion here. In the Prema Pattanam, where all the different contrasts, the contradictions of the spiritual world are being held up for amusing observation. So the very first one, probably the most important of all, is that na dharmang na dharma is that adharma eva dharma stapita. And that in the city of love, adharma is established as dharma. And we explained already that Sarva Dharman Parityaja is where the author, the name just skipped my mind. Yeah, he says the Gadar, son of the author of Prema Pattanam is the Rasikottamsa, of course, Rasikottamsa, who is the son of Gadadhar Bhatta. So Gadadhar Bhatta, his temple here, currently represented by Achyutalal Bhatta, the family. Gadadhar Bhatta, disciple of Raghunath Bhatta. And right there, their temple is just in the old core of Vrindavan on the edge near the Radha Ballava temple, right next to the Radha Ballava compound. So Radha Ballava compound is quite large. The Gadadhar Bhatta compound is much smaller. But since they were neighbors, it appears that there may have been some influence of Harivangsha's thought. And we're going to see that in a second. But here, he's obviously, Gadadhar Bhatta is a Gaudiya. And he starts the book with an Arpita Charim Chirat, that verse. So, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, and then we have Chaktva Dharmam Charanam Bhujang Hare. If you give up everything to worship Radha and Krishna, if you fail somehow, there is no loss for you. And he says, Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgating tata gacchati. A person who does good never encounters calamity. So here the ultimate good is to worship Radha and Krishna. And hopefully we'll, over the course of time, everything that is entailed by worshipping Radha and Krishna will become clear. There's no loss if you don't attain the goal. Swadu swadu pade pade susukham kartam avyayam. The path of bhakti, if you are aware of what you are doing, is delightful at every step of the way. And there will be no regrets. Just don't let your mind get too aggressive. That's what we're talking about here, telling the mind. He's saying, don't get confused by dharma and adharma. Here's your dharma. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Prachura paricharyam. Prachura paricharyam. Inundate yourself. Inundate yourself with Radha and Krishna bhajan. Inoculate yourself from the desire to do dharmas and adharmas. Here he says, Yatra kova bhadrama bhuta mushikim. What inauspiciousness could befall a person who has given his life to bhakti? The end of the 9th chapter in the Gita also, this is the meaning of the Apichet Suduracharo verse. The Apichet Suduracharo verse is one source of great confusion for so many people. No. Fault finding is good. This is the anthem. Fault finding is good. That fault finding is good. You purify the path. But a person, he says, Krishna says, Apiche suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak. Sadhur eva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisa. He's properly situated. As long as he's properly situated, the effect of dharmas and the dharmas will not be overwhelming. So kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Strange that he should use the word dharmatma. Yeah, kshipram bhavati dharmatma. He quickly becomes, or he quickly follows the standard path of what we expect of piety in this world. You say dharma and adharma here doesn't mean that you're stuck around. You can break the rules, but the breaking the rules for the sake of Radha and Krishna is always going to be exceptional. It just means that it does happen. As a matter of fact, it has to happen. It has to happen. You have to give up dharmas. Every step of the way, there will be new dharmas, because as you progress, your awareness of subtle concepts of duty will become clear. Your conditionings that say, I have to do this, I have to be like this, those dissipate. Or you aggressively counteract them and you deny them. That's called vairagya. In the Bhagavatam, Krishna says to Uddhava, Tavat karmani kurvita nanir vidyeta yavata matkatha sravanado va sradha yavat najayate. So we're talking faith here. This is a faith statement that you should engage in karmas, you should follow your dharma, and you should not renounce your dharmas until you have faith in hearing and chanting and engaging in the practices of bhakti and yoga, bhakti yoga. So if you don't, so what? Right? It says, Kim va ko varta apto bhajatam swadharmata. What does it gain you? Like in the Bible. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world if he loses his immortal soul? So our immortal soul is not gained, as they say in Christianity, through works, through dharmas, through karmas. It's gained through faith, through absorption in the divine reality. Not through religion, but through mysticism, through spirituality. The external paths of religion ultimately lead us to direct perception of the absolute truth. And that's what we're seeking. And it doesn't matter really what your conception of the absolute truth is. That is what you seek out if you're on the path of prema. So let's just go on and see the other examples that he has here from Prema Pattanam. In the Ekadasa Skanda, in the 11th canto, Devarshi Bhutapta Nrinam Pitrinam Nakinkaro Nayam Rini Charajan Sarvatmana Yaksharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kartam. Here he uses the word Mukunda, name of Krishna, because Mukunda is associated with the idea of giving liberation. So Krishna gives liberation. So if liberation is the purpose of all the things that we do, in a sense it is, because you want to enjoy karma bhog, but you want liberation also. People want happiness and no suffering. So liberation is the path of no suffering, and Dharma is the path of Bhoga. Excuse me, I got this seat. I keep sliding down. Radhe. Na dharmang na dharmang. So here in this verse it says, Devarshi Bhutapta Nunam Pitrinam. Normally, dharmas are explained in the nature of debt. You have duties because you have debts. Right? I owe money on my student loan. Nowadays in the United States, they won't even release you. You can't declare bankruptcy. Till the end of your days, you'll be a debtor, slaving away to rid yourself of your student loan. By the miracle of compounded interest, you have become a slave of the system. Congratulations. Devarshi Bhutapta Nurnam Pitrinam. We have debts. In one of the earlier talks, I was talking about gratitude. So, the path of gratitude, the parampara, the path of gratitude goes back through all these Deva, Rishi, Bhuta, Apta, Nrinam. 5 kinds of sacrifices are ordained to release one from the debt. And if you understand the whole process of the 3rd chapter and 4th chapters of Bhagavad Gita, you'll understand that they call it the chakra, the cycle of sacrifice, which is really the meaning of Dharma. A person who takes without giving back, one who receives without being grateful and paying back to society at large, Rinam, without paying back his duty to his forefathers, the preservation of the family traditions, to the gods who created this world. To the previous, the dead and departed, to the rishis who established the principles of religion in the world, who taught how to lead a pious and happy life in the world, and prescribed duties. So we have our obligations to all these 5 categories of entities, leading up to Deva, to Paramatma. The Deva, the chief Deva is Paramatma, the God of this world, the creator of this world, the one that Mayavadis say is a part of this world, and indeed is a part of this world, standing at the cusp of transcendence in this world, but seen by the creatures of this world as a part of it. I do my dharma to God, and then I reap the benefits. I worship God in order to have a happy life in this world. Living a good human life, a responsible dharmic human life, that is worship. You see this, in the Nazis had the expression Arbeit macht frei. And now you see here in India, you see that that karma is dharma. The karma yoga interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita, to justify the worldly approach to religion and religious duty, that God is there to impel us to be good human beings in this world, to do good deeds, and so on and so forth, to do dharmas. But if one is sarvatmana yaksharanam sharanyam, if you've taken absolute complete shelter to the soul of all being. The gopis said, you are the Atma. So the goal is to come into direct contact with the Supreme Soul, with the soul of everything. In the Upanishad it says, you don't love your husband for the husband's sake. You love your husband for the sake of the Atma. You love your husband because of yourself, because you see yourself in him, because you see yourself benefited, because, and on a higher level, because you see the Paramatma in him. But the goal is to see the Paramatma directly, to see the Atma. So you don't really love the husband for the sake of the husband, you love the husband for the sake of the Supreme Husband. Krishna me namavehi tvam atmanam akilatmana. Krishna is the Atma of all Atmas, he's the self of all selves. He is the ultimate goal. So if you've taken shelter, whether in complete knowledge or in partial knowledge, you can't take complete shelter, but if you've taken complete shelter, sarvatmana yah sharanam sharanyam. Then you are not a kinkara, you're not a servant, you are no longer a servant, you're no longer a debtor. You are free. Mukunda will set you free. What happens if you end up in prison? Someone may ask. For not fulfilling your obligations. I'm not a debtor, so I stopped paying my student debt. No, sorry, sir. I'm not going to pay. I'm no longer a debtor. I've taken shelter of Radha and Krishna. Now what? Oh, you go to jail. Haridas Thakur said to the prisoners, may you remain in jail. And the prisoners all got angry. You're a saint? That's your blessing? And Haridas Thakur had to explain. You guys, when you leave prison, you're going to get into a whole lot of trouble. Here you're sitting and look at. Here you're keeping out of trouble. You can chant the holy name. You can spend your entire day in meditation. You go out of prison, you'll fall into bad association. Of course, Haridas Thakur was speaking very optimistically. Most likely because he himself was there. Prisons, of course, are a place where unscrupulous people, criminals, train less advanced criminals in criminal behavior, in criminal ethics. Prisons are really a university system for criminals. Anyway, but here he says, if you've given up all your duties, you're no longer a debtor. You're not a debtor to your family. You're not a debtor to your forefathers. You're not a debtor to the society at large. You're not a debtor to the founders, to the religious founders of human society. I hate to say it, but human society was formed by religious people mostly. We have no debt to them. You have no debt to God himself, the creator of this world. If you've taken full shelter of the transcendent reality of Radha and Krishna. And of course the gopis are the example. Asamaho charana renu jusham hangasyam vrindavane kimapi gulmalato shadhinam ya duschajam aryapatham swajanam Chahitva Bejur Govinda Padavim Srutibhir. These are all very important verses. Asam aho charanarenu jusham hangsyam. Uddhava glorifying the gopis. One of the most, maybe the most important part of the Bhagavatam. The most important verses in the Bhagavatam. Uddhava's glorification of the gopis. Asam aho charanarenu jusham hangsyam. Vrindavane kimapi gulmalato shadhinam. Ya duschajam aryapatang swajanang chahitva. Bhejur govinda padavin. Shrutivir vimrigya. When he says Shrutivir vimrigya, in the verse by Raghunath, he said, Na dharmang na dharmam shrutigana niruktam kilakul. So, Shruti is a word that has a couple of meanings, so it can be a bit of a problem. Shruti means the Veda. So it can include all the Veda. And I think that when Raghunath Das is talking about it, because most of the dharmas are in the Dharma Shastra, which is considered smriti. But here in this verse here, Asamaho, he says Shruti Vimrigyam, and that theme comes up several times in the Bhagavatam, the idea that the Shrutis don't really know. And it's true, the Shrutis don't really know about Radha and Krishna. It's not mentioned there. And in the Bhagavatam, the gopis' method of loving Krishna, this divine path, is not explained. So in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, we see this double-barreled or avatar, that you have the Bhagavatam representing the first installment, and then Mahaprabhu representing the second installment of the Kali Yuga Dharma. But the first installment, this is all third and fourth chapter of Adi Lila, so this is the most important chapters to understand the tattva there. If you understand those things, a lot becomes clear, even what I'm saying here. So Shrutivir Vimrigya means that it's not there. So Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunayavatirna Kalo, the idea of Anarpita Charim Chirat means that something new is being given. It's Shrutivir Vimrigya, it's not found in the Shrutis. It's not found in the Shastras clearly stated. Vyasadeva wouldn't have, Narada wouldn't have complained to Vyasadeva that you've given so much knowledge about religion and philosophy, but you haven't elaborated on the essence. You've beaten around the bush, you haven't gotten to the point. So here, the Bhagavatam shows that the gopis, Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadu Vargena Yakalpita, the path shown by the gopis, that this is to be followed because they gave up dharma and adharma. Here dharma is being explained, Aryapatang Swajanang Chahitva. So you had the Devarshi Bhutapta in the previous verse, in the Bhagavatam 11th canto. So here it's being explained, narrowed down. You have your family and your worldly obligations, and then you have your religious obligations that are adding to those worldly duties the sanction of God, the saints, and Scripture. In a secular society, that is replaced by other things, by secular saints and secular dharmas. But you don't, obviously, if you don't have an obligation. In actual fact, I think that a real Hindu would not make so much distinction between the two. That they would also see the worldly duties, even divorced from any concept of God, to ultimately have the same kind of value. I know this. my own father, for instance. God is often called a father figure, is it not? And people talk about, Freud was talking about this. The idea that God represents your duty. If you read Freud, in his book, his most important books about religion, he's talking about the future of an illusion and civilization and its miscontents. That's the real nice pun in the title. But religion and its miscontents. Or its discontents, really. So there's no pun. But anyway, you have discontents in religion, in society, because Freud saw that duty is being imposed by the collectivity, right? And the human being becomes a slave to that collectivity. And the collectivity imposes duties on him, and those duties become internalized. So what are the duties? The duties are basically the preservation of human society and the continuation of the human race. And so we all have some impelling from within that makes us do, or makes us conceive of our life in terms of duty. And if you're very Tamasic, of course, then you reject even that. So rejecting duty can come from a transcendental point of view, or it could also come from the Tamasic point of view. That's why in the 18th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, there's tyag, there's Tamasic tyag, Rajasic tyag, and Sattvika tyag. There's renunciation. So if you say, I'm going to give it up, I'm going to give up dharmas, you can give up dharmas from a Tamasic point of view also. Huh? You do adharma, well, then you fall into adharma. Or you give up adharmas to do dharma. It says, no, you're still caught up, right? People think, that the young people especially, you often hear, they try to escape from dharma, and the imposition of dharma comes when a person is a teenager and he's facing the first identity crisis. So where does that identity crisis come from? The identity crisis comes from the imposition of family values from the father and mother, and from school and contemporaries and society, and all those things, especially as the child matures, he becomes more exposed to other values than the ones that he was trained with as a child. And so confusion arises, and he tries to establish his personality, and establishing his identity will crystallize around a dharma, something to do. What is my duty? What am I doing in life? So the dharma, the given dharma, you go to school, you get a job, those things. Those are the external dharmas that everybody feels imposed. They're imposed on them. And so they feel like an imposition on one's real identity. And that's when the identity crisis arises. And so this is why most people in their youth, they seek out answers in religion and so on to try to either to find out, or to somehow or another to find a way of accommodating the obligations of human life with their sense of self. So here they're saying that the gopis gave up their families and they gave up their religious, this wider, the family affections. You have family affections, you feel family obligations. Just like if you have a friend who comes to you and says, can you lend me $10? If it's a close friend, it's very difficult to say no. You're married, so when you're married, then you have an obligation to your wife or your husband because you love them, and also because there's a social obligation. And even in today's society, where there's increasingly rejection of these external obligations. Let's say marriage. People say we don't need marriage. We love each other. We can go on just on the basis of love. Very nice idea, you see. So they're going to act only on the basis of personal affection and not on the basis of imposed external duties. I'm married. We got married in a church. We took a vow. We did the 7 parikramas of the fire. My Lord, half an hour is already gone. This is going to go on forever. All right, let's continue with this tomorrow. These ManahShiksha lectures. Let's do a little kirtan. I'm going to stop today though. We'll finish this Nadharmam Nadharmam section by continuing the Prema Pattanama. There's still several more verses. So I'd like to go through that whole section. Until we can come Actually, this section is way too long. All right. We'll just go on with verse number 3 tomorrow. I think we've done enough of Nadharmam Nadharmam. Radhe Shri Radhe Shyam. Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda. Jai Jai Radha Krishna Govinda. Radhe Govinda. Radhe Govinda. Radhe Govinda. Radhe Govinda. Radhe Govinda. Radhe Govinda. Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda. Jai Jai Shyam Sundar Madana Mohan Vrindavana Chandra. Jai Jai Radha Raman Ras Vihari Shri Gokulananda. Jai Jai Radha Kanta Radha Vinod Shri Radha Govinda. Jai Jai Raseshwari Vinodini Bhanukula Chandra. Jai Jai Lalita Vishakayadi Jata Sakhi Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Rupa Manjari Adi Manjari Ananga. Jai Jai Purnamasi Kundalata Jaya Pira Vrinda. Tomra Savai Mili Korodaya Ami Ati Manda. Tomra Kripa Kori Deho Jugal Charanaravinda. 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 Jai Jai Radha Krishna Govinda. Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda. Radhe 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 Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda, Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda, Radhe Krishna Govinda. Jai Sri Radhe. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Sri Radhe Shyam.